Welcome everyone back to Fort Operating Base Lake Fork. I am Greg Hill. I am your host of your fishing show today. This will be a fishing report for Lake Fork. It's September the 9th right now, so I'm going to do it a little early in the week. You know, we have the Sealy tournament coming up next week, and I wanted to make sure I had some stuff in time. I'm going to shoot some more tomorrow, but I wanted to kind of have something out there so some of the people that are starting to fish the Sealy tournament, you know, can have some ideas on how the water, what's been going on with the water out here at the lake, and you know, before they get here, they can kind of look at it. So, right into it. So the water temperatures have been cooling off. We're getting cooler nights right now. You know, the water temperature in the morning is, you know, today it's 83 right here. That's the highest I saw today. We've been in the 90s, well in the 90s last week before this, you know, kind of long cool weather came in. The water level continues to fall. We're about 1.27 feet low, and the lake fishes that way. It's just low enough right now that a lot of the fish are pushed out of a lot of the grass. You know, a lot of that shallow grass it's either out of the water or it's floating around the top right now. So, you know, the idea of thinking about, you know, where you're going to go and where you're going to scout around, you know, what kind of grass you might be able to find. You know, finding that depth in the grass right now, you know, you really got to look for some of those places that have the deeper grass if you want to do some grass fishing. I'm going to go into what I was doing this week. I had, you know, some trips this week, and some half day and some full days, and you know, some were good and some were okay. And one was, I think I had 1-0 on one, so it's really rare that happened, but I think that was about a week and a half ago actually on that. But you know, look, it happens sometimes out here, and you know, it's very rare for me, but you know, I hate it when it happens, but like, it happens sometimes. And I'll talk about what we were doing that day to kind of see what's going on, you know, see what we were doing and kind of the changes I made after that, trying to make sure that that wouldn't happen again. So, you know, I went out this morning, top water bait, just, you know, working some, you know, spooks. You know, basically I won't show all those because, you know, it's the shad color spooks, you know, so I mean, I do have this one out, so you can see that one. So it's just a small, this is the smaller version. Now you can throw the bigger ones. I mean, the big fish are getting shallow right now. I saw pretty good blow-ups this morning. The biggest one I caught today was 2 pounds on this thing. So it wasn't really a big morning for me on the bite. But you know, I was specifically trying to catch some unders today, except when I went back out in the deep water late in the afternoon, and I was kind of throwing Alabama rigs and things like that, and I'll talk about that. But you know, if I'm out there trying to catch these smaller fish, you know, I'm going to go down. I'm going to downsize my baits a little bit. You know, you can't go out there and throw the full size, you know, big saltwater series, you know, Zara spook and expect like you're going to catch a 2.5 pound bass. I mean, it could happen, but most likely that bigger fish is, you know, that bigger fish is going to be, you know, looking for that bait. But the smaller ones can be something that they're doing. You can do the same thing, you know, little crankbaits, flat-sided crankbaits. You know, like I'm throwing some that go deeper. It just depends on that depth range where I see the fish. You know, when you're starting off in the morning, you can shallow square bills. You know, the smaller, you know, shallow square bills, you know, they basically just going to push some water, create a lot of, you know, motion. In some places right now, the water is stained in some areas. It's, I mean, I don't think turnovers happen in some places, but we had the wind. And it looks like a little bit of the clarity of the water is down in some places. You know, right now in the cove I'm in here, it's not too bad, but I've been in some places where, you know, normally I could see, you know, a tree stump down in the water, maybe 2-3 feet, and I was only seeing it, you know, like a foot now. So definitely have some water clarity issues, you know, that are going on. Other things that you can start to, you know, think about throwing out there are, you know, some underspins, you know, some swim baits. You know, throwing those in the grass. They're great baits for getting into the grass and, you know, try to catch some of these fish and just try to pound out a 2.5 pounder, you know. So I don't think that, you know, I mean, if you go back historically, last year it took like an 8-8 to win the Sealy tournament. And I would assume this year that there'll be a couple, there's going to be some overs caught just as there usually is. So, you know, it depends on what you're doing. What are you targeting? You're going to go out there to try to win the big kahuna, or are you going out there and try to win, you know, cash in for a check, you know, for the hour to help pay your expenses. So, you know, think about that. You know, the fishing this week has been pretty good. I had a trip that, had a young man come out here. They came in from Florida, and from Colorado. They fished with me in the spring. Had a great time. They flew down, and we had a great time. And, he was catching. He caught 2 fish at a time on Alabama rig, and he caught some big fish. And, he really, really had a chance to learn, because the first day we lost some good fish, both on spoons and on the umbrella rig, the Alabama rig. He just wasn't playing the fish correctly, getting a little bit too excited, reeling the fish all the way down. By the second day, he did real well. Man, he's landing those fish, and I got the videos on my website of him catching that one. And I don't have that catching, but I'm releasing it. And man, the belly on that thing was huge. I mean, the fish are eating. So I'm right now. It's it's getting toward that evening time, and there's minnows rising all over the place. It's definitely the early fall pattern right now. So, but you know what? You can go out in the morning and throw some frogs, throw some top water in some areas, and I mean you could throw whopper floppers, you could throw zero spooks, you could throw poppers, again the frogs in the areas depending if the grass there. But some main lake areas, I mean I've definitely seen the fish pushing up in the morning. I saw a gizzard shad this morning out in about 5 feet of water, getting chased out of the water on one of the main lake points. So the gizzard shads were probably 5 to 6 inches long, and they're getting chased out of the water. I was throwing a rattle trap. I didn't get one of them right then, but I was trying to mimic the gizzard shad and run the larger rattle trap through there, but I didn't get bit. So just what else can you do? What have I been throwing? Hey, any kind of different kind of soft baits, throwing them into the grass in the morning. So, Senko type baits, this is just one that has, the green with a chartreuse tail kind of pre-done on it. But I've definitely been still dyeing most of my tail chartreuse if I'm throwing any kind of green colors, any kind of flukes or anything like that. Alabama rigs. So let's talk about Alabama rigging. Man, I've had some really great success on the Alabama rig in this past month. And honestly, it's been a great producer for me. I'm pretty easy on the Alabama rig. These are just storm, trailers that are on here. They're pre-rigged with the weights inside of them, so you don't have to do too much work. Look, I pretty much go with the larger baits. Like on this one, I've got it set up where I've got 3 of the larger baits, 2 on the bottom, 1 in the middle. And you see on the top, I've got some smaller ones up on the top. Get a little selection. The fish can choose which one they want to bite. But that way you can, sometimes you get a bigger fish on the big one, and the smaller fish can still hit the smaller one. They won't be intimidated by that bigger bait. But shaky heads, large worms. This is just one I've got tied on, but this is a blood red. It's a blood red 12-inch worm. So, kind of drilling that down in a deep water. Caught one on that today, but it was only 3 pounds, so it really wasn't that big a fish. I think something that could be producing during the tournament would be the chatterbaits. Look, the chatterbait is a producer. Today, it worked out for me. I was throwing it into the trees and working it through the trees, and the one I was throwing today has a smaller trailer on it. It's not huge because I was trying to catch some smaller fish, but look, chatterbait. It's got a Lake Fork, trailer on it, just an all green color, kind of like bluegill colors. Working that shallow, and I got that in the trees today and shallow bite. So, what do I think? I think that somebody's going to catch an over. Somebody's going to catch an over on top water or a big plastic. Right, I'll go out on that. Maybe top water. They caught first thing in the morning, so that would be awesome. I'd love catching top water, so that'd be great. The other thing, getting out and looking at the lake and just looking at the winds. We haven't had rain in quite a while. If we get a rain between now and Sealy, man, it could really change things. If we get this water to come up at all, there's a lot of grass. There's a lot of submerged grass in some areas, and man, it's just ready to get some water in it. Like I said, if you see right now, if you look out of the cove, there are just minnows flitting everywhere on the top of this water. They're just coming out of the water everywhere. So the bait fish are definitely back inside some of these coves. I'm on a main lake cove. I'm probably maybe 250 meters, from the main lake point right now. back in this cove. But you can see, back through here, all the surface, flipping that the minnows are doing. They're here. And so, and I've already seen a couple of hits here. Okay, I'm going to be doing another follow-up report specifically for the Sealy, and I'll do that here in the next day or two as I continue to try to focus on, catching some unders for people and giving them an idea of what's going on. But, look, I'm going to be doing things like a drop shot, smaller crankbaits, smaller plastics, maybe smaller Alabama rig, trying to find some schooling fish out there. But again, I'm going to be trying to find those football fish. I want that Florida strain football fish that's an under that's got some weight to it. That's what I want to find. So today I didn't find that. I was finding some, longer, skinnier fish. Didn't have the football fish. So I'm going to continue doing that. But look, I'm Greg Hill, and thanks for watching the Forward Operating Base Lake Fork Fishing Show. I will get that report in here in the next another day or two on the Sealy. And look, I look forward to fishing you guys. Look, I've got dates in September, October still. I'll be posting those on my Facebook. And if you're looking to start scheduling in the spring, I would start doing it now. I'm already starting to book in the spring. And my Airbnb is already booking up in the spring as well. So if you want to stay here and fish, guide trips also, be sure to do it early, okay? You can go to my website. The websites will be posted on here. Go to www.foblakefork.com. You can see the link for send me a message about fishing, and you can see the link for my Airbnb. But look, I look forward to talking to you. Look forward to fishing with you, and you guys have a great night. How many fish you catch on that catch? That cast? 2. All right, you can put them in now.